Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be doing New Year's Eve Bash DIY. I have Pinterested my little heart out looking for things that I feel would be useful for a successful party and things that maybe I could reuse next year, and making sure that the materials I use are recyclable or made from recycled materials as much as possible, simply so I am being a more sustainable designer, which is, I think, the way we are headed towards in this world, and I want to jump on that train. So, without further ado, let's go. I flipped the gold card over so I could trace the bowls on the white side. I'm actually flipping the bowls over as well because, as you would assume, when you're using circles, there's going to be void spaces, and I wanted to use as much of this material as I could. A, because it was more expensive, but B, it was going to give me more decor. You may notice that I'm also numbering the circles I'm using just so I can have an even amount. However, the finished product, I've noticed that was probably a mistake on my end, because sometimes the circles will flip back and forth, and when they do that, it shows the numbers. So just keep that in mind. Next, I cut it, obviously. But boom! I gotta spruce it up though. And this is the finished result. Next, I laid them out in a circular pattern, one where I didn't have too many of the same shapes next to each other. And then I used my bamboo cord to produce this. For the next project, I need 2 equal-sized squares. The first fold I make will be a triangle, and then I will need to do this for the other corners as well. Now that I've folded from corner to corner, I need to fold side to side, making 2 rectangular shapes. Now that I have folded all of the creases, I need to make the proper cuts. Just make sure you're cutting in the right spot. So you'll notice I'm cutting on the square pieces and not the angled pieces. I measured mine out because I didn't want to cut too much, but I also wanted to make sure I cut enough. So I cut about half. But what I realized by the end of this was, if you don't cut enough, that's okay, because you can make a little snip. But if you cut too much, it's noticeable. Now that the final cuts have been made, I need to fold each triangular piece over, and it's going to make the shape of a kite, which is exactly what we want. I will repeat this step for every piece that I have cut. Now that I've folded all of the flaps over, I'm putting some glue on one of the folded sides. This one I've chosen left, obviously, and that's because I'm going to fold the right side over. Obviously, you can put glue on the right side and fold the left side over. It's whatever floats your boat. I'll repeat this step for the next 3 sections. Now that I've finally finished one side, I had to do the second piece of square paper as well, and now I'm just placing them together. In hindsight, I wished I would have used tape or a hot glue gun, because I used a liquid glue that says it dries clear, but it doesn't. And the finished result, you can see all of this glue that's in the video on the finished star. So it's a little bit annoying. I'm back to using the bamboo cord from the first project. I've tied some knots off screen, but the general goal is every time that I create a new loop to tie a knot, I need to make sure that the previous knot is in the center of the loop. And as I pull the left and right sides, I just need to make sure that the knot stays within the loop until I finally tighten it. And that will create a huge knot at the end. So next you have to put the knotted string in between the two star pieces. The trick is to find a hole that's not so big that the string will pop out, but to find one that's also big enough that you can put the string inside. Then you want to push up towards the top so it tightens. Now, don't make the same mistake I did. Definitely let your star dry completely before you do this step. This next project is taken from the idea of creating the stars from the brown paper lunch bags. I didn't want to go buy brown paper lunch bags, but I did have a lot of tissue paper left over from some gifts I gave. So I thought I can create my own semi lunch bag approach using just tissue paper. I've officially folded the tissue paper into 8 pieces right now. And now that I've folded it into 8 equal pieces, 7 of those are going to be used to be joined together to create the star. In hindsight, I probably could have just used all 8 pieces. Now that I have 7 pieces, I'm going to fold each rectangular long way, so hot dog style, in the middle. That's just to create a crease for me as a guideline. You'll notice I've folded one side just over the crease and then the other side just over the other folded side. And that's to create a little piece that I can put some glue on. And notice I'm only putting glue on this one piece because you do not want to attach it to the other side. You want it to be slightly hollow in the middle, like a log. Now that I folded each side, I'm going to create a tiny little rectangular flap at the bottom. I've done that to slightly resemble a lunch bag. The whole point is to have the left and right side creased without any holes, and also the bottom of the piece that I fold, you don't want to glue that down on top of the freshly folded sides. It's all supposed to be a bit loosey-goosey, so I'll create 7 of these. Boom. And then I have to start gluing them one on top of another. To glue them on top of one another, I'm going to place a line across the small rectangular flap and then go down the middle of the freshly glued sides in the form of a T. Once I've done that, I'll place one of the folded pieces on top of it and just repeat those steps until all the bags have been used. I've officially glued all 7 pieces together and let it dry. And now I'm gonna cut the sides going in an arch to the very center of the top on each side. And that's just so I can fan it. Once I finished cutting the sides, I went ahead and put glue in the T pattern on the top bag so it would join to the bottom bag. And voila, you have your finished star. The last step is to take my bamboo cord and create a little hole on one of the star points. And really, I just put a little needle through and worked it to where the hole is big enough to thread the bamboo cord through. In hindsight, as I was doing this, I thought a needle with a thread loop would be really beneficial at this point in time, but I don't have one of those, so I'm going to do the same tying pattern that I have for the other star, where I've just created a knot that I continuously keep creating knots on top of, and any excess bit that I don't need, I'll just cut that off in the end, because obviously you don't want people to see the little knot if you don't have to. Ta-da! You have the finished result. I just wanted to show you what it looked like if the circles were to flip over to white. It still looks really good because I have the black and white star. If you want to prevent that from happening, just flip the white pieces over and add some more tape with the string towards the top. It's a balance weight issue, and that's why they're flipping over. I still really prefer the gold for the win. I'm really happy with the final product, and I cannot wait for Saturday so I can hang all of the other ones that I've made. If you want to see the final collection of everything, then head to my Instagram for the final viewing. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, get notified.